Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 53 of the Super Civil Servants Podcast. My name is Greg. I'm an urban farmer, and I'm almost done with my barn. It's going to look really nice when I get done. We have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I have a great cast tonight, so let's get going. With me first, my homeboy, always here, Mr. Chris Balga, Darth Balga. How you doing, buddy? True. I hear you. I hear you. We also have a fantastic guest. I love having her on. Lisa from I Love That Movie podcast. How are you doing? We love having you on, for sure. All right, well, let's get it going tonight. We are going to talk about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. We have done the first two movies. Like I said, first week every month is going to be a movie review. We're finishing Lord of the Rings right now. I believe we're going into Indiana Jones next. Before we get there, let's go ahead and finish Lord of the Rings. And Lisa, you go first. Talk to us. Just an overall review of this movie. How did you like it? Yeah. Good deal. We're having some audio problems right now. Nathan's chiming in. He says he can only hear me. But I just saw there was a mute button on the rest of the feed. So can Nathan, can you hear me now? Or anybody in the chat right now, can you hear me? Oh, well. All right. Hello. Sorry, guys. We are we are experimenting. I am experimenting with this. So trying to make it work. I saw there was a mute button on the rest of the feed. But can Nathan, can you hear me now? Or still patiently waiting. Legendary Bitty Geek says, okay. It says we're live. Hello. Sorry, guys. We are. So I don't understand. We are experimenting. I am experimenting with this. So trying to make it work. Okay. But so I need some feedback in the chat room. I can hear you. Legendary Big says I can hear you. Okay. So we're good. So let's keep going then. Can you hear everybody, I should say? Okay. So I need some feedback in the chat room. I can hear you. Legendary Big says I can hear you. All right. So we're good. So let's keep going then. Can you hear everybody, I should say? It is, man. It is. I mean, it has its challenges, you know? I hear you. He said, I hear you. That's not good. It is, man. It isn't good. Oh, that's not good at all. Why is it not working? It's the same setup I had last week. It worked. I'm going to blame you. He said everyone sounds mumbled. Let's see. Let me make sure I have my settings right. Why is it not working? It's the same thing. Input audio. It worked. Yeah, I didn't see it till you said that. So it's good. He said everyone sounds mumbled. We've had a lot of shows like that. I can't believe we still have listeners. So, well, look, here's the thing: is I have the recording on Skype. I have the podcast going on. So while I try to figure this out, and while I kind of I didn't go back and forth with people in the chat room trying to figure out what's wrong. Let's go ahead and talk about what we felt about Lord of the Rings, because Lisa started it out. I can't believe Chris, tell me what you think. Overall view, man. What you think about it? I know this is your favorite, right? The podcast going on. So while I try to figure this out, and while I kind of I didn't go back and forth with people in the chat room trying to figure out what's wrong. Let's go ahead and talk about what we felt about Lord of the Rings, because Lisa started it out. Chris, tell me what you think. Overall view, man. What you think about it? I know this is your favorite, right? The podcast going on. So while I try to figure this out, and while I kind of I didn't go back and forth with people in the chat room trying to figure out what's wrong. Let's go ahead and talk about what we felt about Lord of the Rings, because Lisa started it out. Many, yes, very many. What you think about it? I know this is your favorite, right? Okay. Many, yes, very many. Okay. Yeah. Well, when I watched it, I felt it was very weird because I forgot how long this movie was. It's been a while since I've watched it. I really forgot how long it was, and I'm yeah, because I felt weird watching the movie because I mistimed it. Like I was up till like 2:30 last night watching the movie because I mistimed it. So because I got done with the Battle of Gondor and I looked at it and I paused it and I was like, okay, I still have an hour and 46 minutes left. Yeah, because I felt it was pretty insane. Or maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it was 46 minutes. I can't remember. Maybe it was. I was up to like 2:30. A long time. Very, very long movie. It almost feels like three movies, and it feels weird because when I say that, I want to back like a 4-hour Snyder cut. I really do. I really, really do, because I want to see it so bad. Oh man! But I just watched this 3-hour and 20-minute movie, and it feels. When I say that, I don't know if I can watch more than once another movie this long and really pay attention that much, because after the first scene and the second scene are done, that's a movie. Like I'm done. So, but then I realized there's still a long time left. There's a whole third story they haven't even talked about in 45 minutes. But that being said, it's still my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It has a lot of action, and I'm done. I think that of all three movies, obviously this being the latter of the three, it had the best special effects. It had the best finishing touches on what would not be real. It's still my favorite. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't want to ramble on all night. I loved it. So. And I'm done. I think that of all three movies, obviously this being the latter of the three, it had the best special effects. It had the best finishing touches on what would not be real. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I don't want to ramble on all night. I loved it. So. I think that of all three movies, obviously this being the latter of the three, it had the best special effects. It had the best finishing touches on what would not be real. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I don't want to ramble on all night. I loved it. So, I think that of all three movies, yeah. Well, it really could have been two movies. I mean, it's because there's two full storylines going on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. During the Battle of Gondor, I or not is it Gondor? Or is it what is it? Missing Theories? I can't remember. I wrote it down. Let me look at my notes. Um, Missing
Well, it
Thera.
really could have been two movies.
Minas Thera.
I mean,
yeah, that was what it was. Minas
because
Thera.
there's two.
Yeah,
full
Minas
stories
Thera.
going on.
Minas Thera.
I'm not gonna lie. During the battle,
It's
of Gondor,
sound. I mean, like after that battle, like I had completely forgotten about the ring. You know, and I was trying to think about how to compare it earlier, and I was thinking about it like, okay, imagine if you're in a football game, because I love football. Imagine you're in a football game and you're down 21 points in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden you have made it back, and you score that touchdown right in the last second, where you tie it to go to overtime.
And I was trying to think
Okay?
about how to compare it earlier.
The rest of the movie is overtime.
Okay, imagine if
Like that's all it is. Like the rest of the movie is overtime because I could be done with that battle in these movies and be totally satisfied
and all of a sudden you have
with what's
made it
going on
back,
because I completely
and
forgot about
you
the ring.
scored that
Completely forgot about the
touchdown
ring.
right in the last
You know?
second, where you tie it to go to overtime.
And I was trying to think
Okay?
about how to compare it earlier.
The rest of the movie is overtime.
Okay, imagine if
Like that's all it is. Like the rest of the movie is overtime because I could be done with that battle in these movies and be totally satisfied
and all of a
Yes.
sudden you have
with
made
what's
it
going on
back,
because I completely forgot about the ring.
scored that
Completely forgot about the ring.
touchdown right in the last
You know?
second, where you tie it to go to overtime.
Okay? The rest of the movie is overtime. Like that's all it is. Like the rest of the movie is overtime because I could be done with that battle in these movies and be totally satisfied. Right. With what's going on because I completely forgot about the ring. Completely forgot about the ring. You know? Where you tie it to go to overtime. Okay? The rest of the movie is overtime. Like that's all it is. Like the rest of the movie is overtime because I could be done with that battle in these movies and be totally satisfied. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, it's funny you say that about the first one being. I don't know if it is shorter or not. I have to look it up. But okay, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Right, a lot happens. But here's my thing with the first one. The reason why I bring that up is because, like, of all three movies, when I'm watching the first one, I'm kind of at that point where it gets to about 2 hours and 20 minutes in where I'm, okay, when is it going to end? Like, I'm ready for this to be done. Like, let's go. Let's go and stop it. I'll watch another movie later.
Right, a lot happens.
But that's just how I feel. It's my least favorite of the three.
Because,
You know,
of all
but it does lay out
when I'm watching the
everything
first
you
one,
need to have 2 and
I'm
3.
kinda
So
at
I
that
mean,
point
it's
where
very
it gets to
necessary.
About 2 hours and 20 minutes in, where I'm okay.
But
when is it gonna end? Like I'm ready for this to be done. Like let's go. Let's go and stop it. I'll watch another movie later. But
Really?
that's just how I feel. It's
Wow,
my
okay.
least favorite of the three.
you know, but it does lay out everything you need to have 2 and 3. So I mean, it's very necessary. See, that's funny because Return of the King feels longer to me than Two Towers does.
Like let's go.
You know?
Let's go and stop it. I'll watch another movie later. But
Really?
That's just how I feel. It's
Oh,
my
okay.
least favorite of the three. You know, but it does lay out everything you need
Possibly.
to have 2 and 3. So I mean, it's very necessary.
See, that's funny because Return of the King feels longer to me than Two Towers
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
You know?
Well, I feel like you could have had the Frodo and Samwise story and the entire story of everything about Gondor and every other character in
Possibly.
Lord of the Rings into 2 movies.
That's funny because
You know, I mean, I don't mind it being in one because if it's a good story, I'll watch it. Like I love it. I'll watch a good story, no problem. But it did feel like there was some points in times where I was like, okay, I had to pause it a few times and be like, okay, how much longer is left in this movie? Because, well, that also has to do a lot with it being late. So if it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I probably wouldn't have felt that way. But when it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so that's kind of my fault. I'm not gonna blame that on the movie. But yeah, okay. So we all agree the movie's long.
I had to pause it a few times.
It's very, very long. Let's point out some things about the movie we loved.
That also has to
What
do
did you
a lot
love
with
about
it
this
being
movie?
late.
Chris, start
So
with you, man.
if it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I probably wouldn't have felt that way. But when it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so that's kind of my fault.
Okay.
I'm not gonna blame that on the movie. But
Yeah, okay. So we all agree the movie's long.
I had to pause it a few times.
It's very, very
Yeah.
long. Let's point out some things about the movie we loved.
That also has to
What
do
did you
a lot
love
with
about
it
this
being
movie?
late.
Chris, start
So
with you, man.
if it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I probably wouldn't have felt that way. But when it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so that's kind of my fault.
Okay.
I'm not gonna blame that on the movie. But
Yeah, okay. So we all agree the movie's long.
I had to pause it a few times.
It's very, very
Yeah.
long. Let's point out some things about the movie. Right. What did you love about this movie? Chris, start with you. Well, he kind of in this movie, he's very reluctant, of course, to the entire series. But in this movie, he has that moment where he's kind of led with an ultimatum, like you can basically either be the king and try to win this war, or just everybody dies. And I guess I guess when you're left with that ultimatum, like you've just got to kind of do it, whether you want to or not. So it was a very, very good storyline there.
Has that moment where he's kind of led
What
with
you
an
think, Lisa?
ultimatum. Like you can basically either be the
Lisa,
king
what about you? Favorite
and
scene?
try to win this war, or just everybody dies. And I guess I guess when you're left with that ultimatum, like you've just got to kind of do it, whether you want to or not. So it was a very, very good storyline there. What you think, Lisa? Like you can basically either be the
Lisa,
king
what about you? Favorite
and
scene?
try to win this war, or just everybody dies. And I guess I guess when you're left with that ultimatum, like you've just got to kind of do it, whether you want to or not. So it was a very, very good storyline there. What you think, Lisa?
Yeah.
Lisa, what about you? Favorite scene?
Yeah. It just they really sold me on their characters, and I mean, I don't know. It's weird for me. I think that every time you have a Frodo and Samwise moment, or every time you have a Pippin and Merry moment, it seems a little overacted for me. And maybe it's just me. And if you like it, that's cool. I have no problem. For me, it just seems a little overacted. But all the characters nailed their roles. Otherwise, in the movies, I loved it. I don't think anybody else could have done a better job. So, let's see. I loved the aspect of Gollum in this movie. You really see him battle with himself, and I was wondering, does Andy Serkis play what's his name, Smeagol, in the beginning of the movie? He does. That is okay. Because I could see it in his face. Okay, that is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Yes, yes. Yeah. Well, you know what I think it was for me? I think it was the mouth in this one for me is what made me see Andy Serkis as Smeagol, and that's why I didn't know if he played the role, but whoever if he didn't, whoever played that role did a really good job. Um, but yeah, yeah. But I love the character turn in this moment. All right, I'm still trying with YouTube. Legendary Bitter Geek says he is not hearing Chris, but he can see him, but no sound. So, okay, I'm halfway there. But let's keep talking. I let's see. What do you think about like Erwin's role in this? The Liv Tyler, her role in this movie, because she really plays a like. If you sit down and think about it, she is the deciding factor in everything that happens. You know, I mean, without her deciding that's what she wants to do and losing what I wrote it down so that way I wouldn't forget it, but I'm probably still not going to find it because I have a lot of notes. Um, Without her losing that elven life, whatever gave her her life, um, none of this happens. Really, right? I mean, isn't that the kind of the crucible of what makes everything fall into place? I haven't read the book. Is it different from the book? I don't know either. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Trying to think what else about this movie did I love. I mean, besides the battle scenes, I think that it's pretty funny how there's the back and forth with Gimli and Legolas about how they're keeping score, and an elephant only counts as one. That's pretty for little. It's a nice comic relief right when you need it type deal. The only thing I hate is that they kind of made Gimli the comic relief of the entire series. Like he was the guy that whenever you were gonna crack a joke or you were gonna laugh, it's something he said, you know, or Gandalf, one of the two. But I don't know. I also want to talk about Gandalf. Legendary Beard Geek says now I sound like Cyborg. That is exactly how I sounded at the beginning of the last episode. So hopefully it's working out right now. Um, in a few minutes it'll be fine. Um, let's talk about Gandalf, man. I I don't understand his powers through this movie because it seems like at certain times he could just totally end everything and be done, but he doesn't. And why he holds back, I don't know. But then all of a sudden, but I guess it's like that with every superhero. They could end it earlier, but they finna wait till the end. But I don't know. It's weird. I feel like Yeah, you're right. You're right. You got to have the battle in there. I guess that makes a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I always tell everybody there's a point whenever you're watching these movies where you have to let go of belief and like where is your line that you're like, okay, that's not believable. Because if you're watching a movie like this, you can't have that line. Like you've got to go into it knowing that none of this is believable. It's just fun to think about, type thing. Yeah. Um, Return of the King. This movie, I'm actually gonna buy. I think the sword. What's it called? Anduril. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy. I think I'm gonna buy that sword because yeah, I've wanted a sword really really bad, and I think if I'm gonna buy one, it's that one or Excalibur. But Excalibur is so well. The thing is about Excalibur is like that's so played out. Like if people are gonna buy Excalibur, like of course everyone wants that. Uh, but having but I don't know. it'd just be fun, like to have that hang on the wall where nobody can see it on my podcast because it's behind my screen. So, well, I put all my sports stuff behind me. I don't know why. I should change it up, but I don't want to move it every week. So, but what else, y'all? Anything else you want to talk about Return of the King? Loved, hated, scenes you wanted to point out, characters, anything? Okay. So you've read the books? No. Okay. Never read the books. All my knowledge is from what I learned in middle school reading The Hobbit, and yeah, yeah. It is a good book. What's funny is I've read The Hobbit, but I haven't watched all the movies. So, okay. I have not. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I actually had a veteran story that I want to bring up later whenever we talk about the Mando documentary series. But no, you're right, man. Whenever you get to that point, like in the military, especially, uh, inhibitions are gone, and everybody is kind of your brother, and there are a ton of things that happen that are absolutely insane. I could go on with stories for days, days, and I didn't get deployed. I could go on with stories for days about the military. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, man. Like military was fun. I definitely have a military story to tell later that I can't wait to talk about. I saw that earlier when I was watching the Man Dog. I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that. So I'm bringing one up later for sure. Um, but yeah, what do you think? Right. Yeah. Well, it leaves a story open. You know, like you could continue the story if you wanted to one day. I don't know how you would do it. It almost be like what they're venturing into with the Mandalorian type deal, where you can continue the story of a character and you know it not be focused on the main streamline of what's going on, but still have a good time doing it. And I don't know if they ever will. Like, didn't they talk about a Lord of the Rings TV series? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how well that will work out, but I mean, people love Game of Thrones till the very end. I mean, people still love this. You never know. So, yeah, that's true. But I haven't read the books. I love the movies. Haven't read the books. I don't think you have to read a book for a movie to make it better, but a lot of times it does. But yeah, ending was kind of crazy. It's funny because like when I want to talk about this movie, I want to talk about Aragorn and the Battle of Gondor and everything else more than I do the ending. like I forget about the ring, man. Like it doesn't matter to me anymore. Like I want to see the battle of this. It's like the overtime. If I make it to overtime, well, I'm happy. I was getting my ass kicked, and now I'm in overtime. So, but I don't know. The last hour is interesting. Yeah, yeah. Right. And then wasn't that a thing he said like in the first movie, Fly? Wasn't that like a whole deal? Like if you knew the whole time, it kind of made me mad at the end when I found that out. I was like, wow, he knew the whole time they could have flown and they'd have been okay. Oh, I'd be pretty pissed at Gandalf. Yeah. Right. Hey, do you know why they called Gandalf a different name in Gondor? They called him Mithrandir, Mithrandir. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I know he totally broke the rules when it came to lighting that torch, though. Like he had no F's to give. No F to give. He was lighting that torch, no matter what. So, but yeah, man. I love Lord of the Rings. I love this series. I love this movie. Man, I'm trying to think of anything else that I want to point out because I don't want to talk forever about this, and Sarah's waiting on us to join so we can talk all kinds of other stuff. Y'all have anything else you want to point out? Great movie. Yeah, it was fun. Right. 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 Makes sense. CGI was way better in this movie than the last movie. Like there were a few points you could point out in CGI this movie or last movie you couldn't in this one. So I was happy about that. But uh, yeah, I mean overall, like we said, we all love these movies. That's the reason why we talked about it. That's the reason why we sat down for 3.5 hours and watched them again. But I did forget how long these movies were. I know that I own these movies on DVD, and then whenever we were going to review them, I converted them to digital for like $2 a pop on Vudu, which is a good deal. Yeah, so and I've been watching digital since then. But yeah, well, I'm good with Lord of the Rings. I've gone through the majority of my notes, and if I didn't hit them, y'all did. So let's give it a second. Let me bring Sarah in here, and y'all talk about awesome stuff in the world right now, other than COVID-19, which is not awesome. But how are y'all doing? I gotta ask you, man, what's that like? Like the end of the school year, do you get like a 2 month break? Yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay. That is pretty cool, man, because I know a lot of the places around here are not doing anything as far as I understand it. But then again, I don't have a kid in high school. So, like, I have a 13-year-old, but she's not a kid in high school. So, like, I haven't heard anything about what they're doing. I mean, I deliver mail, so, I get a pretty good insight on, what's going on. But I deliver to two schools, but I haven't heard anything about any kind of ceremony for the kids. And it does kind of suck, even though, I mean, it's a ceremony. You know, your life will be okay without it, but it's still pretty cool to have. I mean, you feel like you've earned it. Like it's still pretty cool to have. Right. Yeah. It's actually it's actually pretty cool. Like the Charlotte Motor Speedway, what would the normal graduation have been? Oh, okay. So it's kind of unique. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. Sarah, what's up? Hi. Sarah joined us while we were talking about principal stuff. So good deal. Doing good. How are you doing? Oh, look. Oh yeah, I definitely want to talk about it. Yeah, I finished watching the last two shows while I was putting the finishing touches on the floor of the barn. So, like, I'm literally like screwing and nailing stuff in as I'm listening and watching the Mando documentary series. So, because you know what, you got to make time. So I made time. You know, love technology, but But Sarah, it's awesome to have you. We just got done talking Lord of the Rings, and you know what? If we're talking about Mando docu series, y'all want to just go ahead and talk about it? Make it the next topic. Cool. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, you haven't met yet. That's right. Good deal. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, Lisa, you're our special guest tonight. What's up? Go ahead and start talking to us about the Mando documentary series. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I definitely watch these. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's fun to see the other side of things and how things are produced. It's actually funny to look at some of the technology they used, and this is kind of where my story about the army coming in is the technology episode. I think it was number 4. That's probably been my favorite episode so far because it is so cool to see how they do this. And basically, what they do, spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, you shouldn't be listening. Spoilers. Yeah. Yeah. Listen and share anyway, exactly. It's cool because they basically created a virtual environment, right? So, like, the entire walls are surrounded by screens and the ceiling is surrounded by screens. So they can have an environment where they're at filming. Well, what year is it? 2020? I got out of the military in 2012. So in 2010, we were doing this in the military. Like, we would go into a trailer, and in the trailer there were 2 trucks, and you sit down in the trucks, and they turn the screens on, and all the screens around you, like, created an environment, and you had over the ceiling too, and it basically gave you a simulated environment of driving, and you would have attacks and all kinds of stuff. It was a training event, but it's crazy looking at that now. Like, movies are just moving to that now. Like 10 years ago, we were doing that in the military. So but it is assuring to know that, because if I want one to be ahead of the other, I want the military to be ahead of Hollywood. Just saying, you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Reaction. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was talking to my wife about that exact thing earlier about how cool it was that they have this environment now where acting before is people are looking at this at a green screen or a blue screen or whatever the hell color screen they want it to be, and they're imagining what they want it to be or what they're reacting to based on what their mind sees. Whereas now they all see the same thing, so it's easier to be on cue with each other. And I was talking to my wife about that earlier about how cool the series was because she watched a few minutes of it and I think she was pretty interested in it. It wraps you in, man. It's so cool to see how that stuff's made. But yeah, all right. I did too. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Right. Oh yeah. Hmm. 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 It still feels connected. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that whenever you look at any kind of Star Wars property, like it's one of those things that you know immediately it's Star Wars. Like if it doesn't feel Star Wars to you immediately, then it's not going to work. And I don't think that I've seen anything live action or animated that just immediately didn't feel Star Wars, even if it wasn't like immediate lightsaber battles and clone troopers and stuff like that. It has its own feeling. He's created an entire different galaxy, culture, a lot. Like it's insane. And Star Trek is the same way, man. Like there's a culture, there's language, there's all kinds of stuff. It's crazy to think about how giant these universes are. Um, but they're fantastic. I mean, we're sitting here talking about them, every Friday night for 2 hours. Like they're fantastic. It's crazy how much I love this stuff and how every time I see it, it amazes me. And dang it, I had a point that Lisa brought up just a few minutes ago that I wanted to bring up and I wanted to comment on, but my mind is not working straight right now. And I can't remember what that point was, but if I continue to talk, I'm sure I will. Or if I continue to listen, I'm sure I will. Um, but yeah, this series has really opened my mind up to how things work in Hollywood. Because my wife's always talked about how she wants to. There we live in North Carolina, which there's not a ton of stuff that get filmed here, but there is. Well, there still is a few things that get filmed here. I mean, because it's one of those states that has mountains, plateaus, and beaches. So we have everything here. It's good temperature. It's a nice state to be in. And there's always like casting calls for extras and stuff. Like I know Swamp Thing had casting calls and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. See, I don't have that close of a touch to Hollywood, but if if hey, if you've ever seen Shallow Hal and the scene where they're in Capitol Grill and Fuel Pizza, I worked at both those places when I went to college in Charlotte. So yeah, there's my touch with fame for for Hollywood. So, but oh, there you go. All right, Sarah, you got to have one. Just make one up. Nobody will call you out. Hmm. See, what's so funny is like, and I know a different perspective from a male, but I'd be like, "Oh, John Favreau was over there," like that'd be my thing. I'd be like, "Holy crap, I want to see him." Um, okay, yes, Favreau wasn't involved. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. There was a little squirrel, but back to the not a lot. You're right. Back to the Mando doc though. A few more things I want to talk about. I loved. We talked about the technology episode, but the special, excuse me, the practical effects episode was amazing. Um, to see what some of those people do, and I know that in this podcast we've done the original Ninja Turtles movies, which are amazing, and it's crazy to think about what those guys went through in those suits. But these actors that put these suits on and do this stuff where they have animatronic heads around their face and they're doing all kinds of stuff like that, it's amazing. Like, hats off to them. I complain a lot of times about Hollywood and how it's a lot of
rich people who don't work very hard that probably didn't earn what they have. But I also say that not knowing. It's a very wrong thing for me to say. It's just the first thing my mind goes to. But I eventually, reason with the way things are. That would be a very difficult job. It'd be something I'd love to try to do. Love to try to do that. But it amazed me the way they do practical effects in Star Wars and how it's really affected the series because they couldn't start with computer animation. They even said it in the series in the show, like George Lucas is always 10 years ahead of his technology. And they're absolutely right. Like if when did the first Star Wars come out? 77? Imagine if it came out in 87. Like how different it would have been. Not that it may have necessarily been better, but different for sure. So that would have put the third one coming out in the mid 90s. Yeah, so that would have been totally different. But 10 years ahead of your time. So what y'all think? Practical effects. Yeah? Okay. Potatoes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, they mentioned that too in the show about how the reason it's so successful is the commitment of everybody to go 100% all the time. Like everybody that's involved in the show and every aspect of it is fully into the show, and that's why it just shows. It's so good. I would have never guessed that the stuff they were doing was filmed the way it was in those dome rooms with the TV screens. Would have never guessed that. I would have thought that Kill would have been totally animatronic. I didn't think he was an actor at all under a suit. Or excuse me, she was an actor at all under a suit. So that's how good it was. It totally fooled me, knowing that it was fake. Totally fooled me. So, anybody else? Anything else to talk about Clone? Or not Clone Wars? Gosh, we've been talking Clone Wars for long. Mando documentary series. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. She's tough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They did. Mm-hmm. We can't cover this up. That's right. Well, it's funny. Y'all were talking about the silhouettes earlier, and I know that over me and my wife's bed on our headboard, I have a silhouette of Han Solo and Leia with "I love you and I know." You know, and what's funny is my wife's not like I love my wife for all kinds of different reasons, but she is not a fan of this kind of stuff, which is fine. I respect it, no problem. We still love each other, no problem. She respects me for it, so but she has no idea. Like, and I don't think I'm gonna tell her. I think I'm just gonna tell her that it's a sweet little sentiment up there of a man and a woman. I love you, I know, and I'm not. I don't think I'm ever gonna tell her. She'll probably figure it out. She probably already has. She's smart. She probably already has. But right, yeah. So I know. Right. Yep. That or she could blow me away one day with that. That's right. Be like, that's from yeah, that's from Empire Strikes Back, right? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, you're right though. Like just real quick, going back to silhouettes, that is when I read that for the first time, I was like, I thought about it and I was like, holy crap, like that is right. I could think of every Star Wars character in a silhouette, and I could call them out. That's that person. That's that person. That's that person. I don't think there's one I couldn't. Is there one y'all couldn't? I don't think there is. Maybe Mace Windu. No, he's got a bald head. Uh, maybe. No, I don't think there is one. I don't think there's a single Star Wars character, a major Star Wars character, that's at least been in two movies that are as a main part of the movie that you know their name. Even down to like Kid Fisto. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, wow. Really? Wow. Right. Huh? You know what? I love creating games. Just saying. Maybe I'll create a Star Wars game like that. I gotta get the audio and video fixed though in the live feed. But what else, y'all? You got anything else you want to talk about the Mando documentary series? Anything that kind of pierced your heart, drew a tear, or just you loved in general? Oh yeah, oh yeah, I agree. That feels like a man pouring his heart out and being 100% honest, and it was so genuine. Like I want that guy in everything. Star Wars in the future, everything. Yes, yes, right. Yeah, yeah, right. Well, you know what? I love you. I love you, Sarah. You made me remember what I forgot earlier. I knew I'd remember before we stopped talking about it. And that's the whole coming together idea of, I was talking about the military. We did this 10 years ago, and they talked about it on the show how it's not like the way they filmed this, because this is the first time anything live action like this has ever been filmed, was such a culmination of everybody bringing their ideas together. And it was this person and this person and this person and this person almost being there, almost figuring it out and mastering it, and them all coming together and making the way a democracy, just so y'all know out there, should work. All coming together and having a great idea and going with that idea and for the best of the people. But excuse me, now I'm talking about politics. For the best of the movie, and yeah, exactly. For the best of the movie, and having the best product. And man, it's like I said, this series has blown me away because I really loved The Mandalorian. I thought it was a great series. I thought it looked beautiful. Beautiful. For a television show, it was movie quality. But to realize how they did it is even better because the movies didn't even do this. Like, the movies look great, but they didn't even do this. So imagine what the future could be if everybody indoctrines this manner of filming, you know? Oh, definitely. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Mando mask. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. That is very, very well put. I never thought about it like that, but now that I hear you say it, it makes 100% sense. Like, I mean, there's no reason why that's not right. Like that's 100% right. Like, I didn't even think about it. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's society. That's what it is. But right. Yeah. So, mm, have you seen PS5 demos for games? Insane. Absolutely insane. It's man. I grew up. I had an Atari growing up, so there you go. I had an Atari. I was there at the beginning, y'all. So yep, I had an Atari. I had the original. I don't have one now. Oh, nice, nice. My wife actually has her still original Nintendo, I think, but it's boxed away somewhere. But I still have my original Sega. I still have my. I don't have the PS1 anymore. I never owned the Dreamcast. I did. I have the PS2. I have the Xbox. I have the Xbox 360, and basically everything after that. So every Xbox has a Ring of Death. That's why I don't do Xbox anymore. So I think maybe it was my first one turned me off to it, and I was like, you know what? I get the exact same thing for PlayStation. So uh, another squirrel. It's okay. R2D2 likes squirrels. So um, actually, which one is it? Bigger R2D2 or miniature R2D2, or is it medium R2D2? I like R2D2, y'all. Just so you know. Uh, so you know. I like stormtroopers too. Just saying. Uh, that's alright. Yep. 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 But well, all right. Well, y'all got anything else you want to say about the Mando doc? Y'all want to get travel away from a galaxy far, far away and come back to well, we're not in Middle Earth, but I guess just regular Earth now, right? It's it's the multiverse. It's the multiverse. Yeah. So let's go ahead and leave. We left Middle Earth to land far, far away, or a galaxy far, far away. Now we're coming back to the multiverse. So with the multiverse, let's start out and let's talk about some Stargirl, man. This is a series that has really, really surprised me. Well, I didn't think it was going to be bad, but I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I'm super excited to see what happens next. Chris, start us off, man. Stargirl. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, she falls into the trope that. I'm sorry, go ahead. Chris, do you want to say something? Okay. Well, so she falls into the trope that every superhero that starts out does, and it's kind of a self fulfilling prophecy that the reason why you're in the situation you're in is because of your dumbass. Like, if you wouldn't have done what you did, you wouldn't be in the situation, but because of that, it's making you the person you are. And that's a self fulfilling prophecy. It's going to happen like that. Um, I want to know with Stargirl, not with Stargirl, but just superheroes in general. Can you buy that kind of fabric, like superhero fabric? Like what's the guy's name on the boys, the fast guy on the boys, like that or bat, like, what's that fabric they buy to make these suits? Because I will buy one and I will sew, like I will make myself my own suit. Right, like I yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Lisa's good. Huh? It's a teenager costume. Well, she's 20 in real life, so she that's a good idea of having a 20-year-old in real life play a 17-year-old on screen. No, she's 20. Oh, and the character. Oh, I thought she was like a junior or senior. I'm not sure, but either way, she's around that age. It's not a bad idea to have instead of having like a 26, 27-year old try to play a high school kid. Is all I'm saying. It was a good pick. Great casting call with her. I think she did a great job. I have no idea who she was before the show started, but she's nailed the role. I really enjoy her character. So yeah, that was like 10 years ago. She had to have been one of the kids. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Well, right. Yeah, 100%. And it's funny we're talking about her not being a big star, but they do have a big cast on the show. Well, I mean, just having Amy Smart and Luke Wilson, like is and Joe McHale. Even though we haven't seen him yet, which I'm kind of upset about because I think Joe McHale definitely should be a superhero. If he's Starman, that's cool, but I don't want to be a dead Starman. But he should be Hal Jordan. Just saying. Yeah. Oh, I think so. I don't think you get Joe McHale for 20 seconds of screen time, and that's it. But oh yeah, well, that's him. That's why he's a perfect Hal Jordan. So I'm saying he's a perfect Hal Jordan. But it's funny they have those names in there because Luke Wilson always plays the same role. He always plays the loser winner. You know, the guy who's a loser, but at the end it always wins. Like or it seems like a loser, but he's really winning. Like I don't know, it's weird. It's that guy you want to be a friend with. I'd be a friend with him. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. The Injustice Society. Yeah. Yeah. She even cracked about the names. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Well, you raised a good point there about mind control. I never even thought about that before, but if that's the case, and that makes total sense, now that what's the guy's name? I keep wanting to say Brainiac, but I keep wanting to say Brainiac, but it's not Brainiac. Brainwave. Now that he's down, do you think maybe next episode or two we see a difference in the town, the way they act? Maybe he is controlling them. Like that's a great theory. Yeah, everybody's happy. Hmm. Hmm. Right.
Right. Well, it is kind of funny the way they portray him in the show. Like the people nowadays don't even know who they were. Like it's not a matter of like they just went away and they're part of history now. Like now it's like they're not even part of history. Like people don't even remember it. Yeah, like it's crazy. But what y'all think of Stripe? The name and the character. Right. Right. You didn't bring it with you. Yeah. Plot hole. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. 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 No, no. Well, go ahead, Chris. Right. They met in the quiver, dude. They had a lair. Yeah. Right. I got you. The Flash is kind of like that. But right. Or Justice League, yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. And oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, going back. Oh yeah. If you've seen the cover, you know, or seen the poster, you know this. Well, going back real quick to what Lisa was saying about the retro and the music, because there's actually, I was going to bring up one point about the music is a reason why I enjoy this show is, you know, a good soundtrack's always great, but it's one of the reasons why I love Umbrella Academy is it has an amazing soundtrack, right? Amazing soundtrack. Like I could listen to just the soundtrack of that first season, and I'd buy it. I really would buy that album. It's a great lineup. But the other thing they do, which you brought up to me that I didn't think about, that like Umbrella Academy, is they kind of ground things. They make things retro. Like if you look at Umbrella Academy, everything is kind of set in a past time, but it is now. But if you notice, like there's no cell phones. You know, like just little things like that that you notice that like they're trying to kind of go, but they're trying to respect a past time, but bring it into the future. And this show did that kind of well too. I mean, even though you know with the Twitter people and everything, I mean, it's always going to be you know
mainstream now. But they did a good job of kind of mixing those two together, and that's kind of what attracted me to Umbrella Academy. And it's great music and kind of a different look of what you're seeing. It's the same universe but slightly different, and I kind of like seeing that. So yeah. Me too. I fell off too. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So, right. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Right. Wow. Be- Bebo. Hmm. Yeah. And, hmm. 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 Well, with Supergirl, I was the same way as you, Chris. I didn't start watching Supergirl immediately when it came out. I definitely didn't watch it when I was on CBS. When I heard it was going to get picked up by CW and tied into the Arrowverse, then I was more interested in watching it. But to be honest with you, like I wasn't sold with Melissa Benoist as the actress. Like, not that I had anything against her. I didn't know her, but just immediate look did not look like Supergirl to me. I don't know why, just in my mind. But after watching the show, I think I watched the first season and I almost watched the full second season. So about the first two seasons. She sold me on it. She's a good actress. She sells the character really well. Um, I like Stargirl a lot better though, and it's kind of what we're touching on now. I don't know if it's because maybe it's a younger character coming into it. Maybe it's just because I was never into Supergirl, but I've never been to Stargirl either type deal. I don't know what it is. I'm just into Stargirl more than I was Supergirl. Right. Hmm. Right. Mm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Right. The suit. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Don't be practical. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because like with Tyler's take on Superman, like I like it. It's good, but it's one of those things where like because I have Cavill as Superman, I'll never accept that as like that's my Superman or like that's. But he does a very good job of his role. I'm interested to see his character. Like if he has to play Clark Kent, I want to see that. I want to see how he does as a more mainstream character, like the lead focus of the show. Like like Chris was touching to. Um, it'll change things up for me. I think he can do the job well. But Cavill's my Cavill's my Superman. So I'm gonna write that down. He's gonna nail Clark Kent. I'm gonna write that down. 133. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Lisa, that is a perfect segue into our next segment. If everybody's done talking about Stargirl, does anybody? Oh, actually, you know what? We're not done because I had something I wanted to bring up. We'll have another segue in a minute. Uh, I want to bring up: are we going to see the Injustice League? And was that Grundy at the end of the last episode? It had to have been Grundy, right? Locked up. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay, so we're going to see Grundy soon, which is awesome. And are we going to see like if we see a JSA, are we going to see an IJSA? Like, is it are they going to reform? Because I don't think that Brainwave is dead. There's no way you kill that character in the second episode of the season, right? Right, right, right. Well, it could also be a oh, let's not get in that conversation. That could be written in. Yeah, that could be written. Yeah. Hey, that could be written in as a turning point for the character, though. If she killed her first, enemy in her first fight. Just saying, it's a very comic book trope right there. So, um, yeah, I wanted to bring those 2 points up. Um, but there's not really a lot to talk about. We heard Grundy. We'll get to see him again. I want to see Grundy again. I want to see the interpretation. And I do think they're building up to an Injustice League and Injustice Society of America and a Justice Society. Yeah, said it right. Yeah, JSA. Um, it'll be really cool to see. And like I said, it kind of through the second episode, we haven't seen anything else about any of the teammates other than Stripe, which blows my mind. But it's okay because I don't. I'd rather them tell a good story than rush it. You know. So, um, but yeah, I love Stargirl. It's a great series. If you haven't checked it out, check it out because it's really really fun. It's gonna be a fun one to watch. I don't think I'll fall off this one. I think I'll keep watching this one. So it doesn't give me that DC vibe. It gives me a new, fresh vibe type deal. So, um, but the segue you were talking, or I was talking about a minute ago, that you were talking about with Henry Cavill. Let's talk about some of that. Let's talk some Henry Cavill. Because the title of this episode is The Death and Return of Superman, or excuse me, The Death and Return of Henry Cavill as Superman. And as I'm pretty sure there's some news that came out right before we started airing or recording about this. And Chris, you kind of shook your head and said yes. So do you know something about it? Right. Yet. Yeah. And what happened? Pattinson's Batman. yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hmm. 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 And here's the thing: is we try to talk about him possibly being a cameo or whatever. That's the wrong idea. I'm sorry if you're gonna get Henry Cavill, it's the wrong idea because here's the thing: you can compare it to Bruce to what's his name, Bruce Banner. Who played the role though? Ruffalo, Mark Ruffalo. You can compare it to that, but Henry Cavill is not Mark Ruffalo, and the Incredible Hulk is not Superman. Period. End of story. That's all there is to it. Like, right, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point to bring up. But I don't know, man. Cavill is Superman. Like I just can't see anybody else as Superman in my mind. Like it doesn't. And my thing is, like, there's negotiations going on. It's going to happen. There wouldn't be this many rumors going on about it if it wasn't going to happen. With everything that just happened with Zack Snyder Justice League and all stuff going on, there is a resurgence, and I think that Warner Brothers needs to tuck their tails for a few months and just say, you know what, we were wrong. Maybe we thought that people would like this better, but obviously they don't. We were wrong. Let's go with this direct. Let's go in this direction. And I know it's not going to be Snyder's vision and Snyder's story, but that casting, that character, and that main storyline will still be there. You can run in the future. Like I said, I think DC's on a good footing right now with where they're going. They're at least more popular now in the general audience and the public than they were before, even though I preferred the version before. But I'd love to see them go forward where they're going and be successful. So I think if you add Henry Cavill to an already successful franchise with Momoa and Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher, put all those people in there, man, you could have a real. I don't think Affleck's coming back. It's not happening, which sucks. But all four of those right there, put them in some movies and have a good time, man. You could have a really really great casting, a really really great product. I feel. Um, um, did I say it all? I like to ramble a lot, so right, right, mm-hmm, right. Y'all think it's gonna happen? I think that depends on the popularity of the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. I really do. I think that if that's really really popular, then maybe they look at the studio looks at it and is like, wow, maybe like I said, maybe the tales and say maybe we made a mistake, and they were going in the right direction type deal. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Right. Oh, I'm writing that. I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny all this talk about directors and their different cuts. Like I took my daughters to go see Frozen 2 a few months ago. I'm gonna start moving for the butt cut. You know, I want to see the butt cut. I wasn't happy with Frozen 2. I want to see the butt cut. I'm sure there's a better one out there. So, well, the guy who directed Frozen was named Buck. I don't know. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke, is what it is. Yeah. So I just want to see the butt cut. But uh, I don't. The only. Yeah. You know what the best part about taking my daughters to go see movies like that is? It's a great nap for me because they have the reclining chairs and everything. However, I did buy the new Scooby Doo movie the other day to watch with my 13-year-old because she loves Scooby Doo. So we bought that and we watched it, and it was a pretty good movie. I didn't fall asleep during it. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, dude, I want to see that video when you get it. I want to see it when you get it. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. There you go. Oh yeah. Yep. I've done a few Elsa's for Halloween. So, and what's fun? Well, no, to everywhere. Yeah. What's funny is I have a blonde and a redhead. So Elsa and Anna is perfect for them. Like that's like been 2 years for Halloween. So, yeah. But that was a big squirrel. That's a squirrel. Uh, uh, But well, you know what? Do y'all have anything else you want to say about? When we usually we start chasing a squirrel, we're pretty much done talking about whatever we talk about. You got anything else you want to say about Cavill? There's not a whole lot of news out about it. Like you said, Chris, it's been a week since Snyder Cut. I'm still swimming in that, man. Like yeah, I'm still high on that. I'm not gonna come down for a while. I don't think. Right, right. Right. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Right. Yeah, but that's without adding the caveat of what they want it for. Not that I take that away from him. It was a great job. Right. Right. Well, and I think that comes down to, like I said, like, if by chance Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out and it's not well received, which, let me specify, I don't think my opinion of well received and good are the same, because I can almost guarantee you I'm gonna love this movie. Even if it's bad, I'm gonna love this movie. Okay, I own Justice League. Yeah, exactly. So, but I think that say it takes 2 years for the Air Cut to come out. If the Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out next summer, they're gonna have a year and a half, almost 2 years to really push for that. So if Zack Snyder's Justice League was not critically received well, then that's gonna really affect the Air Cut, wouldn't you think? Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Or Will Smith. Yeah. Hmm. Do you think Jared Leto tweeting that helps or hurts it? Because he's a very controversial character. You love him as a Joker, you hate him. I love him, but right. Great way to put it. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Especially, yeah, especially after another Joker came out after that was highly successful. Like, now he can look at it and be like, look, this is what it was supposed to be. So yeah, he could definitely gain from it. Okay, that makes sense. The only good, no good. Hmm, that's a good point too. Yeah, hmm. Yeah, no. Well, do you, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I just hope it doesn't end up in a situation like Guardians of the Galaxy did, where the first movie's phenomenal. Not saying that Suicide Squad's phenomenal, but like one movie's absolutely phenomenal, and the next movie's just hot garbage. You know? So yeah. Well, listen. Yeah, Rhino was good. Well, here's one of my things with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's like it's not a bad movie. You're right. It's definitely not. It's I've tried to watch it 5 times and fallen asleep every single time. Now, I have seen the movie all the way through because like I've woken up at different parts and like, okay, I fell asleep at this part last time, so I'll start here this time. But I've never seen the movie all the way through one time without falling asleep. It's not a terrible movie, but it just does not keep my interest, man. It is so boring in the boring parts that I fall asleep. Now, that being said, I drink a lot of whiskey. I drink a lot of beer. So that might be a mitigating factor. I bring a flask with me to the movie theater. So that may be a factor that goes into it. But I do that with every movie, and I don't fall asleep during every movie. So I'm gonna try for a sixth time. I think eventually for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But there you go. Hmm. Right. Didn't need to. The character is what the character is. You don't need to know more about this character. This is what the character is. Yeah. So me too. It's the only Blu-ray Marvel I own. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a great soundtrack. The Awesome Mix Volume One. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh. Mm-hmm. They use him as a punching bag. Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. I like it. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, yeah. Mm. It could be like Back to the Future trilogy, except the first and the third one are great, and the second one sucks, as opposed to Back to the Future, where the first and the second one are great, and the third one's not so great. Doesn't suck, but not so great. I'm doing that on a slice of film with Katie. I can't wait. Back to the Future. It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, terrible. Well, all right, yeah, we like I said, we just chased a squirrel. You got anything else about Cavill you want to talk about? Superman, Justice League, anything? Yeah. Uh, um, I think that was it for tonight, right? Did we have another big show topic? I think that was about it. We're almost 2 hours. Actually, we are 2 hours in, so that's a show right there. But I'm. You want to wrap it up? You want to go? Cool deal. All right. Let's start with the guest, Lisa. Tell us where they can find you at and talk about your fantastic podcast. Hmm? Right. Yeah. Lisa, I'm upset that I have not reached out to you and scheduled to be a guest on your show, but I'm planning on doing that in the future. Let's do it. Let's find a show. Let's find a movie. Yeah, yeah. Let's find a movie. But you're also going to be joining us frequently and part of the Geek Alliance, Geek Ultimate Alliance network as well. Correct? So you'll be a frequent guest, a frequent host on these shows. We love having you on. And by the way, we're doing a movie review at the beginning of every month. You're welcome to any of those, and then anything else we do during the month too. Like you're welcome to any of that. Hey, that's the first week of next month. Indiana Jones. That's right. I know Chris is down for that. So, but love having you on, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming on. It's awesome. Look forward to our future in podcasting. Sarah, where can they find you at? Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Next week, Tuesday. Oh man, I got two shows dropping next week. It's awesome. Well, Sarah, you are one of my longest podcasting friends. You discovered me on the C3 Panthers podcast, which I love talking about. But you followed me to here, showed your geekdom, and you pretty much make up the Power Rangers on this show and the Super Civil Servants. And I definitely plan on you being a big part of whatever shows I'm associated with in the future with the Geek Ultimates Alliance, with DC Alliance podcast, superhero discussions, all that good stuff. So you'll definitely hear more from Sarah in the future. Trust me on that one. So. And I love it. Chris, where can they find you at, buddy? Nice. Ah, good call. Good call. There you go. There you go. Cool deal, man. All right. Yeah. There you go. Good deal. Good deal. I can't wait to hear it, man. That's why I actually messaged Travis the other day to find out if I could have Patreon access, just so I could hear that episode. But I guess I'll just have to wait until Monday. But just so everybody knows, Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, there is a Patreon account. If you want to check out shows early, check out the Patreon account. But we do start next week. All right, gotta get your breath. All right. You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter if you want to talk to me personally. Or you can find me at Super Civil Servants Podcast or at SCS Podcast 1 on Twitter, where you can also talk to Nathan, who is a regular host of the show. We'll, talk about this kind of stuff and, pretty much anything you want to, we'll talk to you about. I also host the DC Alliance Podcast, which is going to be dropping Tuesday morning. Me and Travis Hines already recorded our first show. That's DC Alliance Pod C1 at twitter.com. Same network as Geek Ultimate Alliance. Fantastic show. It's going to be really fun. Then I also do superhero discussions with Travis Hines. We're dropping that episode Friday. We're covering Superman the Animated Series for our first 3 episodes. I don't know if we're going to switch it out between Superman the Animated Series and another show, or just straight do that Superman the Animated Series and finish that one out. But we may switch it up a little bit just to throw a little variety in there. But check that show out. I think that show's going to drop on Fridays. And then you can also find me at the C3 Panthers podcast live on YouTube Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we were going to try to do tonight and be live on the show where people can interact with us and have a good time and see our faces. But because I am not technologically advanced like that, it did not quite work out. But it will in the future, I promise. We're holding off the fan giveaway until I can get that working. However, Beard Geek, I think you deserve a comic, just because you'll get one of mine regardless. So, awesome fan, man. I love you, dude. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for helping me out. But that's about it. All the places you can find me. Well, my superpower is not sleeping, because in all this time I work a full-time job and I'm building a barn. So, I just, 3-4 hours of sleep a night, I'm good. So, that's all you need, right? With enough whiskey, it works. I'm telling you, that's my life motto. With enough whiskey, it'll work. So, but all right, y'all. That's a show, man. That was an awesome time. Great topics, great guests. Love having all y'all on. I'm ready to get out of there. Yeah. All right. Well, until next week. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one. All right, 209.47. Good job, y'all. Y'all, that was super fun. And Sarah, I know I talk to you all the time. You seriously can come on this show whenever you want to. In fact, I'm going to ask you Fridays, every Friday when we're recording, because we love having you on. Lisa, the same way. Like, I know you're a big movie buff, but you also have tons of other passions that we are all associated with. Y'all are all welcome to come on the show anytime. I love having guests, and the good thing is I have a crew of 5 or 6, and then a bunch of guests that like to come on too. So I always have a ton of people on the show. It's great, and not everybody has to feel obligated about being on every week. So right. That's exactly what it is. I'm recruit. Well, we had to get the 4 guys on there, and the 4 guys recruited all the ladies. So so the 4 married guys recruited all the 4 married ladies. So put that out there. No, seriously, it is a great time. Sarah, Lisa, thank you so much. Chris, man, you're my boy. But I'll hit y'all up next week if y'all are willing to talk. Like I said, we're always looking for guests and slots and people on here, and y'all are pretty much hosts, because I think y'all been on more than just about anybody. So it's not host. So Star Trek's after Indiana Jones. We do, and I gotta wear a stormtrooper mask the entire time. I will do it. You know what? Maybe in like a week or two, because we got Doom Patrol. I want to do Doom Patrol season 1 review week 3 of this next month, and then season 2 review the last week of the month, and then after that, I'll start Indiana Jones. If everybody's down, man, I'll do Star Wars next week. If nothing else comes up, do y'all want to do a Star Wars commentary next week? Yeah. Yeah, I'm down because we have they'll close that one out. It's good, yeah. So, okay, cool. Well, once again, thank y'all so much. Love y'all. I'm sure I'll be in touch with y'all tonight or tomorrow. So, have a good one. I need to. I know. Later.